Darkcast Network. The light shines brightest on our indie podcasts.
Welcome to Creepy Tapas,
where we do the opposite of deep dives and bring you tiny tastes of terror connected by a common ingredient.
True stories to haunt and chill you and the pop culture they inspired.
Or at least the movies and books that remind us of them.
Join us as we descend into darkness,
beginning with the lighter side of our weekly topic,
and wrapping with a full dark, no stars account of terror, madness, murder, and more. It's Creepy Tapas, y'all.
Halloween is a sacred time of year where our fears go on display and the things that haunt us come out to play. Haunted houses, hayrides, zombie paintball, and more. They wouldn't be the same without Halloween, and Halloween would be less magical without them. Suspending reality, the brave willingly enter these creepy attractions looking for a little shot of adrenaline or to feel our skin crawl in a safe environment. But what happens when the no-touch rules are non-existent? Would you go into a haunt with a safe word? What about a personal injury contract? What real terrors lie beyond the imagination in a world where the truth is often more haunting than fiction? Come along, ghoul fiends, as we descend into darkness on today's episode of
Creepy Tapas.
Hello, ghoul fiends. Welcome, welcome.
Halloween!
Oh my god, I'm so excited about!
Fucking Halloween!
Dude, it's so amazing. I'm so excited.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everyone. We have a photography studio in downtown district, and every year we do this really fun photo booth, and we offer free photos and costume to all the kiddos. And it's really cool because it kind of keeps me, it keeps me valid. It keeps me current. I know who Paw Patrol is because
you know the important things in life.
Yeah, like the costumes that come. I'm like, oh, okay, what's that? They're like, this is Elena of Avalor, and I'm like, oh,
Who the fuck is that little kid?
I'm a fancy Nancy. They get progressively less scarier, the costumes.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
I remember being a kid and just seeing like a lot of ghosts and Draculas and zombies and witches.
Yeah, we were all monsters and shit, and now they're like cartoon characters.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
A little bit.
I want to go ahead and assume that it has something to do with how the Halloween costumes used to be more like handmade, and like now there's capitalism.
Well, yeah. I mean, even when I was a kid, we had handmade costumes. Okay, so when I was like 6 years old, my mom used to make our costumes. And I don't know why, but that year I wanted to be a purple fucking ice cream cone. So she took this big, like a body-sized pillowcase and just drew a fucking ice cream cone on it. And cut a hole, and my face was right in the middle of the damn ice cream. I was the cutest goddamn ice cream cone in existence.
I bet you were. I bet it was like so adorable. I was a cute little pumpkin. They gave me a pumpkin costume, but my favorite costume was the year that my mom dressed me up like Wednesday Addams, and I had a pillowcase that had like blood splatter all over it, and it said "On Trails."
Nice.
That was a dope Halloween. I remember staying out. It was just like, okay, it's like 10 o'clock. We're done.
Everybody's lights are off.
Get inside, That was fun, though. So did you ever, when you were a kid, did you do haunted houses, hay rides?
We went to a haunted house once when I was a kid. It was at the fire department. It was a makeshift haunted house bullshit. And it scared the absolute fucking shit out of me to the point where I just stopped. Like there was some guy chasing us with a fucking chainsaw, and I just stopped and started crying.
Oh.
And it turned out we knew the guy. So he stopped and put his chainsaw down and walked me out backwards, like through the backside of the haunted house. Was like, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just crying.
Oh, you were so scared.
And okay. Now my anxiety's so high about it, I just can't do it.
Yeah, no.
Ripley's got me.
Oh, really?
Yes, I can't do it. I went to the Ripley's one as an adult, and that shit, I can't do it.
I didn't know that Ripley's had a haunted attraction.
In Gatlinburg.
No shit.
Mm-hmm. They got all kinds of that Ripley shit in Gatlinburg.
Fuck everything about that.
Gatlinburg or Ripley's?
Well, Ripley's kind of because they have like statues and shit, and you know how I feel about that.
Yes.
A lot of wax. A lot of
Oh, they
wax
do have that.
sculptures. But yeah, I've done a few kind of dumb things. I went on a haunted hayride at this place called Mike Greenwell's when I lived in Fort Myers. It was this little haunted hayride, and you would go through the sort of like this backwoods, everything's flat in Florida, so there's really nothing too interesting as far as topography. Like, it's not like a farm or anything. You're literally just going through some fucking like Florida nothing, I remember my friend didn't really tell me like what we were doing. So I was like, is this just a regular hayride? And he was like, yeah. No, it's cool. We get going, and this motherfucker like jumps onto the hayride from the woods, like some zombie maniac. I don't even know what he was. I just saw him running at us and like, like he was like screaming, and I fucking jumped and left. And I was like, no, don't jump off the ride. The woods are dark. I was like, fuck this. And like,
I gotta go.
I did. I hauled ass the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Not for me.
I remember being a kid and being terrified of, the chainsaw guy that, someone's dad would come running around the side of the house or whatever and, scare everybody. That used to really freak my shit out. I did this other thing too at Screamfest in 2011 where I was buried alive in a coffin.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was a buried alive simulator. And
God.
So you obviously weren't actually like lowered into anything, but it was a casket that was on hydraulics and had things like compressed air and like sound effects and even like smell effects and speakers on the inside. So it really felt like you were in a hearse being driven to a cemetery, and then you could smell and hear the dirt being dug up around you. The whole experience was so horrifying, and they record you in there the entire time. I drew a crowd. There were people clapping when I got out because I put on like such a show. They stopped the ride. I guess there's a twist at the end of it.
You guess. Oh, you didn't make it to the end?
I didn't make it to the twist. The twist at the end
I wouldn't
is,
have made it to the twist either.
No.
I would have made it like into the hearse and be like, all right, I'm done. I can't do it.
Yeah, we're over. Well, I guess what was supposed to happen is there's a point in the ride where I was hearing what sounded like moans, and I was like, let me out. Like, I was banging on it. I was kicking. I was screaming. They let me out. So apparently what happens is a zombie reaches through to your feet.
Oh.
So something grabs your ankle, and it's just a little hand.
No.
Like something just broke into the coffin.
I'd have fucking fainted.
No, absolutely. I'm glad I didn't make it to that, but like everyone was clapping and they were like, you should go try to be in a horror movie as a scream queen. I was like, no, I'm really quite scared right now. They were like, do you want to buy the DVD of your experience? I was like, no.
That was genuine fucking fear, y'all.
I don't ever want to see that again.
I want to forget all of this.
Yeah, this was awful.
No, I would have never done that.
No, yeah. No. I don't know what the
Getting
fuck.
buried alive is like, no, fuck that.
Awful,
like
awful.
Simulated drowning. Nobody wants to do that.
So I guess some people do.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, I guess. A bunch of crazies.
I thought, because, I'm a grown adult now. So I was like, maybe if, I had a client that hired me to do a promotional movie, the haunted house that they were doing at their dance studio. So I was like, okay, cool. I can probably do a promotional video for you guys too, of the actual attraction. So I went in and I last maybe 30 seconds before I was like,
Nope.
And everyone was like, you looked so wild. And I'm like, I genuinely was panicked
horrified
that there was a zombie coming for me. All of a sudden, zombies are real.
Oh, all of a sudden.
Defying all logic. But that's the thing about these things. There's no such thing as zombies. You're not in an insane asylum or, fucking penitentiary or dark carnival. But actually, yeah, some of these places do actually happen in penitentiaries and old asylums. But, you're pretty sure, at any rate, that the actors are actors and that like everything is cool. I don't know though. You just suspend your disbelief enough to be like, no, this is real. Like there is a fucking zombie chasing me. Like right now, zombies are real. 100%.
100%.
Like no question. So it's clearly not for me. But what I do love is working the haunts as like a creeper. Have you ever done that before?
I would love to work in a haunted house. No.
Oh my God, we should do it together one year.
Okay.
We should both volunteer at like Frightmare or something. Okay.
Well, it's not a volunteer. They pay you.
Do they? Hell yeah.
Yeah, they fucking pay you.
Never got paid. I just was doing it for the fucking hell of it, like just for fun, right?
Nope.
Well, I really like to be the person meandering outside the attraction, like giving people a little teaser. Sometimes you can make them run away screaming before they even get in.
No. I would want to be all up in that shit.
Like in the heart of it.
Yeah, in the heart of it.
That's dope. Who would you want to play?
I don't know, like laying on an operating table with all my guts hanging out or something.
Just being like, ah!
Help! help.
Like reaching for people and shit.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
So you'd rather be like a victim than a monster?
Oh God, yeah, I guess maybe. What?
Yeah. I think I would definitely rather play the monster.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking of scary shit. I mean, I wouldn't mind to be a monster.
Yeah.
I could go bah.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be a monster if you were on an operating table and you were a zombie.
Okay, see, so I guess I'm a victim and a monster.
Yeah, you could be all the things, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's make believe. You can be whatever the fuck you want. So I've never been to an extreme haunt before or even like a Halloween horror night, but I do really like the more PG rated activities like hayrides. TJ and I took Lyra, our baby girl dog, on a hayride this week. And
You took the dog on a hayride?
We did. TJ got the sweetest
Y'all are
pictures
basic.
too. We are not. She had her pretty dress on. She was so pretty. Oh my goodness. But yeah, no creeps. I
keep the creeps on my TV.
Yeah, I just want to keep them on the TV. That's where they
them on
belong.
TV.
That's right. Have you ever wondered why in the hell we started scaring the shit out of ourselves anyway?
Adrenaline rush.
Yeah, I'd imagine part of it's that. I'm going to take us back to 19th century London.
Ooh, fun.
Oh, yes. Jolly good time, yes. Welcome to an era that is just obsessed with mysticism, illusion, magic, slideshows, circuses, seances, and illusionists, right? Like, they're all over the place. They started really gaining traction and making that money, honey. So our interests in the macabre obviously go way back because we were watching public executions take place.
I mean, there were public executions in the Bible, if you believe that shit's real.
That's
It's been
true.
going on
That's
since
true.
ancient
Oh, the
Egyptians
1700s.
did
I'm like,
public
they
executions
did
too.
it.
Like, yeah, that shit's been around forever. As long as people have been along. We've been killing each other and watching it.
Grab the kids and wife, making a lovely beheading before a quaint
Let's go down to
lunch.
town square and watch somebody get hanged.
Yeah, and then we'll go have tea.
Yes.
I mean,
Have a nice lunch afterwards.
who needs a haunted house, man? You know? Do you think on Halloween they would put candy down their throats so when they cut their head off it was like a little piñata?
Maybe.
I
I
would-
would stuff their mouth full of it.
I would have done that. I would have done that.
Most definitely.
For the kinder.
Makes it fun for everyone. Family friendly entertainment.
Well, yeah, because even the little kids, like now they get a treat. You know?
Well, do they get to whack it with a stick?
Well, no, that's the executioner's job.
Cut the head off.
yeah.
I mean, if they were like hanging like a piñata would be.
Oh. Yeah, I guess you could fill them with candy too and just let the children beat them
Put candy like
in their butts.
stuff. No, like stuff in their butt. I don't know that I would want.
I don't
butt
know what
candy.
other orifice would shoot.
Well, it doesn't
out
need to be
after
in an orifice, you nasty. Put them in some parachute pants and fill their pants.
I like how I went immediately to it. No,
It must be in their ass or their vagina.
it must be an orifice or not at all.
No, I mean, surely they had pockets in their clothes.
I mean, they're dead. You can make a pocket anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Have a little imagination.
Just making pockets.
Marie Tussaud traumatized the world with her fun and flirty exhibit, The Chamber of Horrors.
Whoa.
Oh, sounds like a fun date night, right?
Right?
Yeah. Well,
I would like it.
No,
I
it's
mean, maybe not.
horrible.
Oh, okay.
It's horrible because inside the Chamber of Horrors, it's just wax figures.
Okay.
Famous decapitated royalty.
Okay, you find that horrible.
Well-
like, I could go look at a wax museum. It's not like a haunted house.
I
I'm not
don't want
saying.
you to.
But I'm not afraid of it. But I want to go see a bunch of beheaded kings. I'd stand over their waxy corpses and be like, oh, fuck y'all.
You're dead. Ha ha ha.
I would just go gawk at it.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't. I would stay well away from there. Part of the exhibit included heads on a spike.
Fun.
Yeah. Featuring King Louis, Marie Antoinette. But the shocking realism of the figures was no accident or just fine craftsmanship drawn from paintings in Marie's memory. They were actual fucking death masks.
Nice.
Yeah. Marie made these at the gallows.
That is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Isn't that right?
I think she's my favorite.
She might. Yeah.
She's my favorite person in all of history.
We might be related.
Oh, what? That's why I like you so much.
Maybe.
That's why we get along.
So, yeah, we actually might be. I don't know. I would need to look into it more. But I found out that she comes from a long line of public executioners, and so do I. My great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was the executioner of Prague. So,
Okay.
yeah. And the nature of that job back then is that once one person did it, everybody in the family had to do it. Like if you had any kids, that was their job.
No.
You know, but that's
It's like
whole,
taking over the family business.
I mean, it really was. That's a whole thing. Like we'll get into maybe we'll do a special episode about my like great times 8 grandpa. But yeah, she grew up around this sort of grim shit. So it really didn't bother her to like witness people get their heads lobbed off or to like hang out with them, you know? Born in 1771, Marie's mother was a widow who worked as a housekeeper for renowned waxmaker and anatomist Philip Curtis. He noted potential in Marie at a young age, and he made her his ward and star pupil. Marie would sit in the wax salon and see so many noblemen, which would inspire her. Her first figure would actually be the likeness of Voltaire.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's a neat thing. She had an iron stomach.
She would have to.
And mixing that with her artistry, Marie would later apprentice with Curtis, who became super busy during the French Revolution.
Oh,
You can imagine making wax heads atop costume bodies of the French nobility. And I think there was something like oddly magical and scandalous for people at the time that you could, you know, be in the presence of a king's likeness, but without needing to genuflect or even be polite.
Tell him to go fuck himself.
You can. Like, imagine, okay, like meeting a sculpture of Trump. Like, you can call him a turd burglar right to his face, and, like, there's no consequence. You just be like, you're a turd burglar. Ha! You know?
I guess I told you.
Spit in Hitler's eye. Like, do whatever, you know? Like,
Just give him a good poke.
yeah,
Right in
just
the eyeball.
poke him. Poke that dictator. Jordan's son comes up to me last week, and he says, Ash, do you know what a dictator is? And I was like, I do. Yeah. I said, do you? And he goes, yeah. Like Hitler. And I was like, yeah, kind of. Yeah. And he was like, yeah. Do you know though, that word sounds like you're saying the D word and like potato.
Shit, I've been laughing about that since I was Axel's age.
Damn.
Well, it's country kids.
Well.
Dicks and taters.
Oh, man. So this is how Marie started. She would go and sit in audience at the execution, and then she would create her art. Yeah, she was a badass because, like, to do what she was doing, she had to be comfortable. So the fact that she could be comfortable at a gallows during these executions, like comfortable and free enough. to create
Yeah, I
her
mean,
art,
why not?
You know, like just such a baddie.
Just wherever.
Wherever. She was quoted saying,
I would sit on the steps of the exhibition with bloody heads on my knees, taking impressions of their features.
she would later do a bunch of amazing shit, like leave a slimy husband with a duffel bag of wax heads to find her fortune.
What?
She did. That's literally what she did. She left her husband, she divorced him, and she just had like a duffel bag full of heads.
Nice. Here you go.
Well, she knew she had an advantage over anyone else making these wax dioramas because she had the actual death mask of the actual people as they were. Nobody else had that.
Well, I mean, when you got a front row seat to their execution
You know?
or whatever, you know.
Well, yeah, and like working for a prolific artist already. People were asking, you know, she was apprenticing for a guy who had access.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and if she was doing nobility, they probably weren't being executed first.
Yes.
The nobility?
Yeah, it was the French Revolution.
Oh, yeah. I am all the time just losing track of what
You're
the
like,
fuck we're talking
why
about.
are they chopping off kings' heads?
Why are we chopping off people's heads? I don't get it. Why are the French people just hanging
Why
out
y'all
watching
so
it happen?
mad?
Why are y'all cool with them cutting your king's head off? What's happening here?
Well, they
Okay.
were the ones doing
French
the cutting.
Revolution.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I swear I'm paying attention.
So yeah, she had a front row seat to all these executions. So she had an advantage, and she knew that she had this commercial advantage over everybody else because nobody else had the actual death masks. They just had memory and paintings to base their wax sculptures on. So she became the most prolific wax worker ever. I mean, you know, you made it big if they throw a wax sculpture of you and Marie Tussaud. I would never go in there. It's terrifying. I was in London on Baker Street. I walked by it and I ran so fast. I was like, oh my God, it's that place. And I was like, yeah, like,
gotta go.
Goodbye.
We have a really shitty wax museum near here.
Actually, the wax museum here is famous for being shitty.
Oh my God, it's so bad. In Sevierville.
I feel like it'd be a good exposure therapy for me. Like maybe I should go. Like if
God,
it's that bad.
I mean, they don't look nothing like the people that they don't look nothing like them.
That's probably what everybody else's depictions of the French nobility was like. It was
Yeah.
probably the equivalent of
Trying
that.
to do it from memory.
Just like crappy painting, doing a wax figure of an artist's rendering of what you look like.
Yeah, and I don't know who the hell did all those, but I feel like at a certain point they were like, well, this is good enough.
Yeah.
And just threw it up there.
Close enough. This is fine.
That's
This
right.
Well, around this time in Paris, the Grand Guignol Theater built fame.
The what?
Don't make me say it.
I want you to say it one more
Oh,
time.
I don't know if I'm saying it right.
I know. Oh.
The The Grand Guignol?
Oh, it's in Paris, so it's French.
Guignol. But anyway, it became famous for its onstage depictions of graphic dismemberments, things like gallows being drawn and quartered, the fun stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. The house manager and director Max Maury bragged that he would gauge how great the show was by the number of audience members who passed out from shock.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is happening.
They actually do it. They were actually dismembering people on stage.
Well, it was graphic depictions. I mean, they were.
I was like, damn.
So, do you remember an Interview with the Vampire when they're doing that play? And the lady is on the stage and the vampires are like actually killing her and she's like screaming for help.
Yes.
And Claudia says, oh, it's I don't remember the name of the play, but she references a famous French play and she's like, oh, the play within a play and all this because they know what's going on, but nobody else does.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the spirit of that is they would do these plays like that were sort of like the equivalent of video nasties, but like on stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would have gone. If we'd been alive back then,
Most
we would have.
definitely.
Yeah, we would have been there. I would have been a season ticket holder.
They probably didn't have season tickets.
Audience members would pass out from shock, which, this is, the 19th century, so I'm sure people weren't used to that kind of shit yet.
Well, you never know. I mean,
we're watching public executions. We actually might be a lot softer
I mean, just
nowadays.
because they didn't have TVs and shit to watch people do fake violence don't mean they didn't see real violence all the time.
Yeah, that's true. We're actually probably a lot more sheltered than they were. Yeah.
Well, because there was a lot of sickness and shit. And I bet Paris was nasty. I bet it was nasty.
Yeah, it was probably disgusting. Gross. Especially because the poor people were so angry. But like it was because they were just living in fucking
pissing
filth.
in the streets.
Yeah. Ugh. I'd be mad too. I go lob the head off a king, I guess.
Smell like a fucking porta potty.
I'm done with smelling like a pig. God damn it. Tell you what. So in the turn of the 20th century, frightening attractions really started to gain traction. Now, keep in mind, this is after people have suffered anxiety and trauma from the horrors of World War I. I've heard so many times that people like us with high anxiety or trauma sometimes enjoy the sensation of being scared or stressed in this environment where there's no real risk or danger. I feel like this was a great time for those kind of attractions to get going. They just seen the horrors of war, or they knew people who were coming back after that, or maybe they'd lost somebody, and like to have like that kind of equivalent of, I don't know what my brother went through when he was fighting in World War I, but I know what it's like to, go into this really dark room and, something bangs and I'm like, ah! And
I don't think those things are comparable.
No, they're not. But I'm talking about adrenaline and just the feeling of being afraid. It's like we were telling your son earlier. It's not that the people dressed up in the costumes look especially convincing. In the broad daylight, looks really campy and cheesy.
Right.
But when you put them in a dark room, it's terrifying.
Scary as fuck.
Absolutely.
Well, everything's scarier in the dark.
In 1915, in Liphook, England, the Orton and Spooner Ghost House brought fear and fun to thousands of people. Powered by steam, which is dope.
That is really cool.
Yes. The attraction is a Carnival Funhouse themed, and it's still operating today.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Can we go?
We have to go to England. It's at the Hollycomb Steam Collection.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
expensive. Unless somebody wants to send us plane tickets. That would be amazing.
We should do it one day.
Don't have a passport and don't have the money.
It's,
unfortunate.
England's fun. I think you'd enjoy it. So the attraction was created by Patrick Collins, who was literally born at a fairground. Carney is like in my fucking blood. Like I was born here. So as a gift for his wife, the Haunted Cottage, as it was called at the time, was a huge hit. People loved being able to go up close and personal with shit that terrified them, but being able to come out alive and in one piece on the other side. The thrills offered were naturally super duper lame by today's standards. There was like this maze with rocking floors.
Ooh.
There were like air blasts from below and walls that shook and vibrated and all of this.
See, I could go through that.
Yeah, me too.
I could totally do that.
But there is one thing here. It all happened in total darkness.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Which was wild at the time because nobody had ever done that before.
I mean, if I know that nothing's going to grab me and it's just shaky walls and shaky floor, I'm totally fine in the dark. I would run into a few things.
Yeah, probably.
But like the idea of something else being there.
I went into a cave once, this underwater lake in Tennessee that you can go to.
Oh, the Lost Sea?
Yeah.
I've been there.
So you've been in the total darkness.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No, me neither.
I don't like it.
Isn't it amazing what your mind does in just even a short period of time? time, you make things up.
Yes.
Very
quickly. I was a
Very
kid
quickly.
when I went. I was like 10.
Oh no, fuck that. I was a grown adult. My imagination must still be really sharp because I could have named 5 horrifying different beasts.
I remember
waiting.
the pitch black, and I remember those glass bottom boats. I was absolutely terrified that some gigantic beast of the water was going to come up and I was just going to see it swim under. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was waiting for a cryptid the entire time.
Oh my God.
I was like,
And we're going to die in
just
this
looking for it.
underground lake. It's going to suck.
Well, you know what I was worried about?
What?
I was worried about a cave-in.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, but
Because there were like these kids and some of them were like running around and shouting and I just wanted to be like, shut the fuck up!
everything's going to collapse.
You're going to cause a goddamn avalanche of rocks, whatever that's called.
That shit's a tourist attraction
Rock-a-lanche.
now. I think they've taken precautions.
Have they?
I mean,
yeah, actually, I'm sure they have.
Yeah,
I'm sure
they
they
really
have.
have.
Yeah. As far as Halloween-themed haunts are concerned, these would make a splash back home in America around the time of the Great Depression. Parents at the time were trying to come up with inventive ways to distract their kids whose fun Halloween pranks had evolved into fucking up people's property and harassing strangers.
Yeah. Fucking vandalism.
Like, wee! Woo! Woo! So, very similar to trick-or-treating. Like we talked about in episode 4, it's basically children panhandling goodies from neighbors. Haunted houses in America were a way to focus the crowd, let the kids expend some of that raw, violent, creepy energy they seem to have a fucking never-ending supply of.
It's all the full moons.
No, the first haunts were super basic. Families decorated their basements and held house-to-house parties. Like we said before, different time. I don't think that house-to-house, basement-to-basement, garage-to-garage or whatever is,
No, I don't think I would let my kid go through some stranger's basement.
No, it's weird. Yeah.
We would never leave that basement. So that would be my concern. We're going to go into this creepy motherfucker's basement.
Yep.
And he's going to have some chains. He's going to sneak a fucking handcuff on me or something. And we ain't never leaving. Nobody even saw us come in here. Help.
But
No,
people
you.
trusted back then,
No,
man.
thank
It
you.
wasn't like that yet, Well, each basement would have different spooky scenes and themes, and often families would get together and, they would plan like neighborhood constructed tableaus and frights that would keep the neighborhood just freaking out till dawn. You just have like little parties, and I don't know, I kind of geek out thinking about that time when neighbors were close together and you could be like, oh, Martha's gonna have ghosts, so do you think that we should do like Frankenstein and
No, because we would have some bitch neighbor be like, they're going to do ghosts, so we're going to do them better. We're just going to do it better than everybody else. And then you'd be super annoyed and you would hate it.
You know what I would start doing? I would start really giving them Halloween pranks, like busting out some shit. I don't know, sending some of my performers over to crash it and scare everyone.
There we go. The
So much
neighborhood
spookier.
bitches haunted house is getting crashed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will crash your fucking haunted house. Well, there's an amazing party pamphlet from 1937 that illustrates how parents can design trails of terror to scare trick-or-treaters. It reads,
An outside entrance leads to a rendezvous with ghosts and witches in a cellar or attic. Hang old fur or strips of raw liver on the walls where one has to feel their way through dark steps. Weird moans and howls come from dark corners. Damp sponges and hairnets hung from the ceiling, touching his face. I don't know. Doorways are blockaded so that guests must crawl through a long, dark tunnel. At the end, he hears a plaintive meow and meow and sees a black cardboard cat outlined in luminous paint.
I thought it was Gary. Meow. Well, this is all well and good, but it is America. And at some point we're going to talk about commercializing the spooky season. And I ain't talking about pumpkin spice toilet paper, lattes, and everything in between, but a much more sinister, frightening, and domineering presence.
Did you say pumpkin spice toilet paper?
Yes, I did.
Is that really a fucking thing?
I guarantee if you Google
I
it
do.
right
Okay,
now-
so you just made that up.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm sure it's real.
I know that they do have weird scented toilet paper,
They
but
do.
it's like flowers, not pumpkin. I don't know why you want your ass to smell
Bet.
like flowers, but
You know what? Hang on. It's on Snopes.
okay, what? It exists?
False. So yes.
Boo.
Yeah, it was on Snopes as false, but somebody has thought of it, I guess. This was a much more sinister, domineering presence. A demon who influences our culture so much it has staked ownership in every single franchise you love. That's right. The mouse that made Ripley from Alien a fucking princess. Disney.
I fucking love Disney.
Well, of course, nothing really mattered until Disney decided to open a haunted house. So in 1969, Disneyland's Haunted Mansion, which is a ride that I have always loved.
I love it too.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's created in the style of an evergreen house mixed with the Winchester Mystery House, which I didn't know until I read that was their intention. I see that now. Yeah. But, they styled the shit out of it, and doing what they do best, they really blew it out of the water. It was a huge success. Disney really kicked off the idea that a haunt could be more than hanging sheets and trees, putting plastic masks on dressed-up mannequins, and all that jazz. If you've never been, the most impressive moment of the ride is when you're taken through this 90-foot-long ballroom sequence. Do you remember that?
Yes.
They're all, dancing, and
all
it's
the
like a birthday party.
Yes.
Oh, my God, it's so cool. It's so amazing. I remember being a kid and thinking it was literally magic. I could not figure out how the fuck.
Axel thought they were real.
Oh, yeah. No, it looks... Yeah. Did you tell him they were?
I did, yes.
Yeah,
I was like, of course
yeah.
they're real. And then when I liked the part when you go past that mirror.
Yeah.
And
watch out for hitchhiking ghosts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's ghosts in your seat with you and shit.
Yep. I got the fat one with the top hat.
Did you?
Yeah, I got him twice. I was like, I keep getting this guy.
Well, he liked you.
He liked me, It was amazing. The illusion is called Pepper's Ghost, and it involves using refracted light to project images.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. They were the first to do it, and it really kicked off haunted houses as we know them today with the themes and just, how stylized they are. We kind of moved away from having just the dark room with jumps and, little cheap frights and started veering more towards, okay, we can make this an art.
And I love Disney.
Oh my gosh. I know you do. I don't hate them.
Oh my God. I just...
Well, you can't dance your little skeleton dance in the sun without the coalition of angry religions coming to shut it all down.
Nope.
Many evangelical Christians attempted to put a stop to all the fun we were having by creating an actual traumatic event.
Yep.
You know what I'm about to talk about.
I do.
Yeah. Hell houses.
We called them shits judgment houses where they fucking judge you. Mm-hmm. You'd see a bunch of pregnant teenagers and kids doing drugs. And then the last room, they'd be in hell because they died giving birth or from their drugs. They were just burning in this room. It was fucking terrifying.
Were they screaming and stuff?
Yeah.
Can you...
You'd go through and the first few rooms would be different people sinning, and then their sins would kill them. And at the end of the judgment house, they would get judged and they would go to hell.
How were they judged? Where was what was it?
When they die, they go, for their judgment, and they're either good or bad.
What did the houses look like?
What do you mean what the houses look like?
Did they decorate the house?
They did it at the church, and they would decorate, I don't know, the whole hallway, and each room would be a different, and you'd go from room to room.
Would it be actors going from room to room?
It would be people from the church. It's like a haunted house, but it was put on by the church. I don't know. I've been to a few.
Well, the first time I ever heard of it was King of the Hill.
Oh, word.
Trick or treat. Trick or treat. I fucking love Hank's little... That's what we should be for Halloween. I should be Hank from that episode with the too tight double costume.
Nice.
But yeah, that was the first time I'd ever heard of that when I was a kid, was from King of the Hill. And I always assumed that was a thing of the 70s.
Nope.
Me too. In an attempt to save some souls on All Hallows Eve, Jerry introduced the Liberty University-backed Scaremare in 1972, which used the usual haunted house tricks to frighten kids into repentance. Their website says it
presents funhouse rooms and scenes of death in order to confront people with the question, what happens after I die?
No, that's not traumatic for children.
It is very traumatic. They're fucked up because I'm telling you, they're real.
Did you get upset?
Yes, it makes you yeah, oh my God. Yes, they're upsetting.
On how?
Judgment houses are one of my many things that led to me not being a Christian anymore.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
God, they're awful.
Yeah. In researching this, it was really the first time I'd ever really looked at it. Scaremare, put on by the Liberty University students, has drawn over 300,000 attendees over the years, which is crazy to me that they're that popular. I guess they've actually become more popular through the years, since you and TJ were kids. And now they're all over the U.S. There's even ready-to-go Hell House kits that you can get from the Assemblies of God minister.
Of course you can.
Yeah. So what's inside, right? Trigger warning, some of the shit actually is scarier to me than any make-believe haunts because people actually believe this shit. And yes, I respect religion when it's used right. I think Jordan agrees with that. When you aren't trying to control people or make choices for others. And to me, this is where religion stops being a personal, harmless idea. And it kind of turns into a dangerous cult fostering mob mentalities. I think that there's nothing more frightening in this world than fundamentalist.
It is terrifying.
It's so scary.
Any hoodle.
Any hooski. Hell houses have grown adults and teenagers dressed up in demonic garb or just normal people.
Yep.
And create horrifying scenes showing what sins land a person in hell. I'm sure this podcast is probably now on the list.
Yay.
The scenes are different from house to house. Like Jordan was saying, some of them are in churches too.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, it wasn't houses. They set these things up inside of the church.
Maybe I'm reading this
Every
wrong,
one
where
of
they
them.
said house to house and they mean like
Room to
church
room.
to church or I gotcha.
Yeah, like it's all in one place. It's like set up. I don't know. I guess a lot of churches around here that did them were fairly big. So like the whole downstairs, and you'd go through this whole elaborate, scene to scene, room to room, like checking out, the gays and the pregnant teenagers and the drug addicts,
So
because those are the things.
A couple popular scenes that I read about, and I guess these probably sound really familiar to you, is that the gay man dies of AIDS and then he's greeted by Satan. There were depictions of being thrown into pits of fire and like they would really be like screaming, like really screaming.
Mm.
And then there was a teenager who's like sexually assaulted at a rave while taking drugs, and she completes suicide, because she's depressed instead of turning to God. I guess is the point that she didn't.
I don't know what the point of them are. Just to fucking scare people into believing what they want you to believe.
She goes to hell, of course. But then a young woman is hemorrhaging from an abortion. She's bleeding to death, but she repents in her final moment, and so an angel comes and takes her to heaven. So is that kind of the flow that you saw too?
Yeah.
Right thing?
I mean, I guess one of them always did, because there was this, I don't know. I mean, there was a whole judgment scene, and then they would go to hell. Like it was fucking terrible. I'm telling you, it was God. It was all so traumatic. I got to stop thinking about them.
Oh shit. I'm sorry, dude. All right.
No, it's okay.
Gosh.
I'm not as dramatic as it's sounding, but good God, they were traumatizing.
Well, there's a documentary
Be glad you never had to go to one.
No, yeah. Like I'm actually like when I hear you and TJ talk, I'm really grateful that I grew up secular.
God, those things are terrifying.
It sounds like you guys had really scary childhoods having to go to church.
It's not scary.
Like, every Sunday, y'all went to a haunted fucking house.
No, I mean, I don't know. Basic church wasn't scary, especially when you were in children's church. That shit was fun.
When
You
you're
just
little,
colored.
Yeah, making macaroni crosses
colored.
and shit.
Yeah.
Well, there's a documentary called Hell House, directed by George Ratliff. And if you want a deep dive on the why, how, and the what the actual fucks, it's a great one to check out. Despite efforts to burn down the fun, the Haunted Attraction Association says the scare business is booming. Today, it's an over $300 million industry, boasting over 2,500 haunted attractions worldwide, mostly in the U.S. And to think, it all started with a carnival owner's gift to his wife.
Thanks, pal.
I guess haunted houses come from love. It's all you need. Scare you up some romance.
Well, whatever gets you going.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, it's time to chat movies and a tour of the different types of haunts you can try. Who knows? Maybe we got something you never heard of.
Never know.
Never know. Welcome back, Ghoul Fiends. Feeling inspired yet? Like I was saying, we went on a regular hayride last week, and it was a lot of fun. We went around this like massive 3-acre corn maze, and we went around the back. There was this little peak of a haunted carnival through the trees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was broad daylight, and that was enough for me. Like I was like, whoa! Like I was so scared that something was gonna come out, and like it wasn't even.
You were just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, like just the suggestion that was over there. They were very clear. Like we don't do anything like that till 8:00. Close the whole place for half an hour, and then
it becomes scurry.
That's right. So I needed the soft baby version.
The baby. I would go to the baby version.
Yeah, that's the version for me. So let's start where we're all acquainted, shall we?
Haunted houses and mansions.
A haunted house, haunted mansion, or haunted castle is a type of haunted attraction that usually takes place inside. Victims may experience intense animatronics, bloody and scary set pieces, rustic antiques, scary music and sounds, dynamic lighting, fog, costumed actors with elaborate makeup and masks, or other special effects used to create really creepy, awful scenes. These can be located in hospitals, grocery stores, shopping malls, warehouses, factories, boats, ships, all kinds of shit,
Have you
man.
been to a haunted house in a grocery store?
They are out there.
That is fucking hilarious. I would go
They're
to that.
out there.
I would go to that just because it seems ridiculous.
Well, and like it isn't grocery store themed. It's just like
Oh,
a
no.
disused. Yeah.
Oh, it's just like a closed
Yeah.
down. Oh, no.
Yeah, like they're
No, I want
they're
it to
basically
be a
like
fucking
saying it's
haunted
like
grocery store. Like, wait a minute.
haunts can range from a few minutes to many hours in length, with some permitting visitors to go at their own pace and others requiring group tours led by guides. I'm definitely one of those people that needs to be able to just run through it if I need to. Don't be holding me back from the next room.
Oh.
I want to, if I had to, I'd want to just do it.
I'm just running.
I just run straight through the
just
fucking
running
thing.
with my
I'm
elbows
just
out,
my
head tucked.
my hoodie like over my entire face.
Yeah, like I paid for this. Get out of my way.
A number of the largest seasonal attractions feature multiple haunted houses on the same site. For example, in 2015, Pure Terror Scream Park in Monroe, New York was awarded the Guinness World Records for the world's longest walk-through horror attraction. It boasts 10 different and unique haunts, all of which look absolutely horrifying,
The Crypt,
which is vampire themed.
Resurrection Cemetery,
I'm sure you can guess who lives there.
Woods of the Dead,
So I'm assuming more fucking zombies. Ugh.
Bedlam State Asylum,
Clue is in the title, and I am not okay.
Psycho Circus,
Yeah, I gotta go. That spells clown to me, so nope.
Terror in the Dark,
That sounds like a blackout adventure, riddled with monsters who can, quote, see you before you see them. No thanks.
Desecration,
Where cursed and possessed nuns come for your ass.
Camp Kilmore,
Because Crystal Lake is trademarked, but screaming the killer's name is Jason somehow isn't.
Nightmare Factory,
Home to another licensed character with scissors for hands, but a hint, he's not Tim Burton's buddy. And the Piece de Resistance,
Legends of Horror,
which has all sorts of creeps like Reagan, Ghostface, Leatherface, and all kinds of faces I don't want to fucking see.
I don't want to see them either.
No. In a movie, that's great.
That's what I said earlier. On the
Yep.
TV. You
Yep.
stay on the TV.
You stay the fuck.
stay the fuck there.
What can you watch for a taste of the fear without actually peeing your pants? Have you ever seen Hell House LLC?
I have not.
It's this 2015 found footage movie. I think it's made by Stephen Cognetti. It's shot like a documentary and shown in the aftermath of this tragedy that happens at a haunted house. So basically, these guys are doing the haunted house and they're making a documentary about doing it, like the employees, you know? Mm-hmm. And shit just goes fucking haywire and there's like a mass murder. Conveniently, they have cameras everywhere, of course, you know?
Inconveniently.
Yeah, I'm always like, that's a lot of angles. Like, I feel like, how much money did these guys have for all these static cameras? It just feels like a lot.
Yeah.
But it's okay. You gotta suspend your disbelief, right? It was generally well received because there's actually two more, one taking place at the lake and another at a hotel. I saw the first one. I didn't hate it. I didn't know about the second and third, though.
Yeah, I didn't see that one, but I watched one called Haunt, and it seemed
to see
very
that.
similar to that, but it was so fucking good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't people that were like making the haunted house. They went to it, and then they had to surrender their phones and sign a waiver, and then as they're going through it, stuff starts getting them. Getting them.
Get you.
It'll get you.
Get it.
It was really good. God, it was the best movie I've ever seen about a haunted house.
Really?
Yes.
I definitely need to watch that for sure, for sure.
Haunted trails and forests.
Typically taking place at a park, at a theme park, or other outside venue, most haunted trails are close to a mile long and may include small buildings or huts that include various scenes visitors are forced to enter or walk past. Scenes such as hillbilly huts, a haunted cornfield, a clown maze, an alien invasion, or movie-themed rooms showing off well-known scenes and horror villains. Most have pre-lit paths or roped-off areas if there's not any path already in the woods, but that gives me the fucking heebie-creebies. Like, the woods are by default scary.
Yes, quite.
We don't need any extra.
I mean, in the daytime, not really, but
Just,
at the nighttime, yes.
You may have a tour guide with you on your experience, or you may be allowed to walk alone if you are absolutely insane. Unlike haunted houses, weather determines if the attraction will be open or not during the month of October. I remember there were a bunch of these in Florida. That was pretty much like what what it was. People just had like a bunch of haunted forests and trails or like haunted airboat ride.
Okay. Well, because the weather was usually nice.
Usually, yeah.
Haunted hayrides.
The haunted hayride was arguably started and popularized by the original Spooky World, which opened in Berlin, Massachusetts in 1991. Nothing like climbing into a hay-filled wagon, sneezing your ass off with a bunch of strangers, and adventuring into the unknown darkness.
I fucking hate sitting on hay bales. I fucking hate it. They poke you. That shit fucking itches. And there's goddamn bugs all in the sumbitch.
Yeah.
So like, you got hay poking through your damn pants and bugs all over you. Who the fuck? And it's cold. Who the fuck wants to do that? Sounds nice, but sitting on hay is fucking awful. It's awful.
Pretty rough.
I'm sorry. Continue.
As the tractor driver navigates through brush, cornfields, narrow paths, fields, and barns in sometimes near total darkness. Here you may be terrorized by out-of-control farm equipment, fast-moving vehicles like hearses and hot rods, like coming towards you. You think you're going to have a head-on collision.
They want to play chicken with you for a minute.
Creepy. Actors dressed up like monsters and traditional characters like the Headless Horseman, from Sleepy Hollow. So, but probably not Johnny Depp, just
Probably
like the
not.
Horseman.
Yeah,
that would
that's
be
lame.
it. And probably not Tim Burton, but Washington Irving.
Okay.
Rides usually last anywhere from 10 to 45 minutes. Some use sound systems or compressed air in the wagon to help sell a spooky vibes. Like you might feel like, I hate that. I don't like compressed air. It freaks me out. Don't touch me.
It's just air.
Don't touch me with your damn air. Keep your damn air to yourself, okay? During the daytime, some haunted hay rides. During the daytime, some haunted hay rides.
Look at you sounding like me.
I know, right? During the daytime, some haunted hay rides may have live shows, face painting, fun characters, and may even sell pumpkins or other vegetables to grow on the farm. And that sounds like a hella good time to me. I want to see SpongeBob and buy a turnip to carve.
You're carve a turnip.
This is usually the time that I would go, yes. Haunted hayrides may be the intro to another haunt, though. So first you get on the hayride, and then you're taken to the rest of the attraction. And I feel like that's what I was on the other day. It ends at this like carnival.
Oh, and they were just going to drop you off. Enjoy.
At night, when they add like the haunted people to the trail and stuff, I think that the hayride ends there, and then you walk through.
No,
because
thank
that
you.
ends in the parking lot.
No,
So
thank you.
I bet there's some motherfucker with a chainsaw too. There's always
Somebody
dude with a
damn
chainsaw.
chainsaw.
One of the more noted companies in the sector is 1031 Productions, which has hayrides all over Los Angeles and New York. They even have like a ghost ship attraction too, which, speaking of,
Haunted ship.
this haunt takes place in crazy spots on and off the water in battleships, destroyers, or any other type of decommissioned ship. You board from the gangway and walk through a ship that's usually lit with effects lighting, plays sound effects, it has like different thematic rooms meant to create this really scary environment. Most of these types of attractions are found on the west or east coast because, water. I'd actually never heard of this before looking into these, and I just find that fascinating that I lived in Florida and there was never a haunted ship.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Tennessee, so
Well,
I ain't never heard of it either.
One of the most popular ones in the U.S. is the USS Nightmare in Newport, Kentucky.
See, and I find that weird as hell because I didn't know about that till you told me.
Yeah, it's on the river, I guess. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only been to Kentucky a couple times.
Queen Mary's Dark Harbor in Long Beach, California, and the Ghost Ship Harbor in Quincy, Massachusetts.
We should go to the one in Kentucky.
We should not.
I mean,
no.
we shouldn't. No, I don't want to do that.
Do you remember the movie Ghost Ship 2002?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
It was,
Yeah.
but I really liked the opening scene with like the razor wire. How it like cuts through all the people and like the little girl survives because she's short.
Oh, yeah. God.
That was fucking graphic.
Yeah, it was. I forgot about that.
That was like the best part about that movie.
Yeah, well, that's why I was like, meh. Or whatever.
Very, very forgettable film.
Scream Park.
The first haunted theme park was Knott's Scary Farm, which opened at Knott's Berry Farm. Get it? Scary Farm, Berry Farm?
Okay.
Yeah. In Buena Park, California on Halloween 1973. They're still open, so if you're in California, you can check them out. Haunted theme parks are among the most popular haunted attractions since they offer multiple attractions for a single admission price and are often a high-level production value. Many haunted theme parks include themed outdoor scare zones that feature costumed monsters who roam around scaring customers. Fuck that.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Nope. It is not unusual to come in contact with actors known as sliders who wear these special knee pads. And when the actor slides on the ground, the knee pads make this really terrible scraping noise.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Like nails on a chalkboard scraping noise?
Yeah, until they're like right up on you.
Okay, fine. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I would shit my pantaloons. I have no interest in
Pantaloons.
that. Pantaloons. Well, most people in Florida had been to Halloween Horror Nights, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. You know, the haunted theme parks where they're set in a true theme park or set up within a large space, typically they have these two different areas. And the hub area where food, drinks, merchandise, and all the weenies like me are hanging out, where you can like relax and enjoy like a live show, bands, magic acts. Sometimes they do like seances and fun things like that. But actors can still appear throughout the hub area where their scare factor probably isn't as high as it is in the mazes. But, you know, you still have things like sliders and like a zombie will like run up to you, which I just don't. I'm good.
I'm not in the maze for a reason.
Like leave me alone while I'm trying to eat my pizza. Keep them zombies away from me, man. The mazes themselves are typically accessed by large queue entrances, and the mazes, for the most part, contain the bulk of the haunted theme park scare factor. So the more elaborate special effects and things like that, those are actually in the mazes and the attractions. So, you know, you could probably, if you were okay with like zombies and shit coming up to you occasionally, you could probably go with your family and just relax if that's like your deal. And you maybe have like a teenager that really wants to, I don't know, piss themselves and you don't want to do it.
Just cool with a fucking zombie running up on them.
People love it, man. People love it.
I don't know. Dark and chain mazes.
A dark maze or pitch black maze is, you guessed it, dark or pitch black rooms with multiple paths that may contain dead ends.
That sounds awful.
Oh my God, right? Some may feature actors, air cannons, loud sounds, sprays of water, moving walls, or moving floors, for that matter, hanging props, flashing lights, and more. A dark maze can be a standalone attraction, or it can also be an extension of a haunted house, haunted trailer hayride. So maybe they like have one kind of like dropped into the middle of an attraction, which... Oh, bummer.
All right, surprise.
Yeah, no thanks. Some dark mazes transition into a chain maze, which is similar to a dark maze, but it uses metal bars or chain link fencing for its walls. Most chain mazes will utilize strobe lights and heavy fog to blind and disorient customers while they try to find the exit. I've seen these too where monsters and zombies and shit come at the fence and like they shake it and stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's really narrow and claustrophobic. So there's like only about like a width of your like a person's width space. Yeah, no
thank you.
The scariest thing about it to me is the amount of time spent inside may depend on the construction as well as your skill at navigating through it. So if it's already a hard maze and you're like me and you're just gonna panic and get turned around and not know what the hell's going on, you could be there
just stuck in this maze for hours.
They find me just curled up in a corner crying when they turn the lights up like on the way out. It's like, oh God.
Well, surely somebody would come along and you could just follow them.
Yeah, I'm sure an actor would eventually be like, hey,
are you okay?
I'm not really a zombie. Can I, let me show you the exit. Do you want some water? You fucking crybaby.
Do you have a flashlight on your phone? Dark ride.
A dark ride also takes place in the pitch black, but think of it more as a carnival ride. You get into a car and then you're guided along a track where multiple scenes and actors are lit at timed intervals. Not all of these are frightening, so technically any ride in a theme park, it's kind of like It's a Small World or the Pirates. Those are considered dark rides. I guess it's all dark when you turn the lights off.
That's true.
Yeah, so a lot of times though, like for haunted dark rides, it'll be pitch black and then they'll just kind of light things as you
the things
go
they
through.
want you to see.
Yeah.
Cornfield maze.
If you want to try a regular corn maze, they're sort of fun. We went in one the other day and it was fun. Like,
yeah, they're not the worst.
Yeah, you can get lost, a little lost.
Yeah, do the easy ones.
Yeah.
Do the easy ones because being stuck in corn is pretty scary too.
I'm too lazy for that. I don't even want it. Like, that was just anxiety inducing as fuck. Like, I'd be like, oh my God, like, we're never getting out of here.
Like that time we went to the mirror maze. Oh my God. We were in that thing for so fucking long.
I kept waiting for something scary
like
to
30
happen.
or 40 minutes we were in that.
Were we
thing.
really?
It was a long time. And we finally made our way out and we saw that guy at the entrance. We were like, we fucking did it.
Also, to be fair, I had just had some edibles.
Oh yeah, oops.
So I feel like the lights, and then they did that shit where they turned all the lights off for a second.
Oh my god,
I didn't like that.
I didn't like it either. And I kept running into fucking like plexiglass.
That was really funny. Oh my god,
it was terrible. I don't. That's not for me.
Yeah, cornfield mazes. A lot of times, like you'll go to a dead end, and there's going to be some chainsaw maniac there. And then he'll chase you out, or there's just people chasing you around. So they can get pretty intense. The majority of haunted cornfield mazes are open after dark, which also, hey, it's dark. So not only is it scary, but it's fucking dark. Always reminds me of Children of the Corn, man.
Yeah.
Malachi.
There's all kinds of cornfields around here.
All kinds of them.
Home haunts.
You know that neighbor who has way too much shit outside?
I do.
I'm your neighbor and quit judging me, please. Home haunts are fun and they can be frightening, but they can also be just sort of cool art displays, Some people do lightorama shows to music where you can tune into a frequency and watch the show without fucking pissing your neighbors off. All that damn music. They have elaborate inflatable displays.
Fuck inflatables.
Strobes, cobwebs, and sometimes animatronics, which are they're getting better and more advanced with time, man. Like Spirit Halloween, that's like my fucking Home Depot, dude. Like, that place has so much cool shit.
Yeah, those animatronics scary. That spider got me. I fucking screamed in the store.
Screamed your ass off. It was dope.
I did.
Oh, my God.
And then some little girl came behind me and did the same thing, and she screamed, and she started to cry. I was like, girl, I screamed too. And she, like, all of a sudden was okay.
Yeah. There was one when they first opened, and they must have sold out of it pretty quick because it was really good. But they'd put the trigger plate on a different part, so I thought I was triggering this little, like, zombie thing in front of me. But when I stepped on the trigger plate, this thing to my left that looked like only a 3-foot tall skeleton popped up to be like 8 feet tall.
Oh God.
And just like, "Rah!" And I was like, oh my God. And I just went like running. Like, I tore ass. That thing's not last long. That thing was like, someone snatched that up.
Oh, that is so funny.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's my goal to one year have a home haunt when I'm old and retired, honestly. Like, if you have a neighbor that does this, embrace and support them, guys. They're the real Halloween hometown hero. I ain't talking about the people in your your neck of the woods with the too much inflatables. That's not,
oh my
that
God. Yes.
That don't count.
And they've done that ever since I was in high school. It's been the same people, like 20 fucking years now.
I think they would come up with
way
something more
too
creative.
much. I mean, it's just a pile of shit in their yard. There's no there's no decorative anything to it. It's just a bunch of shit piled up in their yard. Ghost shows.
Between the 1930s and 1960s, movie theaters would have live shows that featured magicians performing magic tricks, seances, special effects, and scary skits. Yeah.
Ooh.
The illusions were all too real and incredible to the viewers, as illusion was in its early day and people were unaware of how the tricks were done. A new form of entertainment, many of these ghost shows doubled with horror movies and played at smaller theaters during the Halloween season. Eventually, these shows would incorporate bloody special effects and sometimes be referred to as midnight horror shows. These shows were daring for their time, but would phase out by the end of the 1960s.
Why? That sounds awesome.
Who knows, man? They just fell out of vogue,
Yeah.
A modern interpretation of the classic spook show was the Hauntings Ghost Show in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this attraction was themed as a Victorian seance, which took place in a small theater setting.
And it's not open anymore?
No, it closed in 2015.
Boo! Why?
Yeah. During the show, the audience would encounter automated gags instead of live performers. So I think it was animatronics. Yeah, so I don't think it would. Yeah.
Zombie paintball and races.
This is a big nope from me. You can paintball your way through a zombie apocalypse. You can also race through it. Both events induce major anxiety from me. I can't even do regular paintball without feeling like I got to kill or be killed. Like, I can't imagine what I would be like in this situation where zombies are chasing me.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about it either.
The zombie fun run at the Field of Screams in Lancaster, Pennsylvania has this entire course you can go through, like a fucking obstacle course. Like, they chase after you and they grab flags off your belt. And it's kind of cool. People can be like either a zombie or a runner. You can pick and you can do it multiple times.
Oh.
And kids are in it and all this. But
well, that's fun.
yeah, and you have to run through actual obstacle courses.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. It goes to a good cause too.
Yeah, there's zombie paintball around here.
We could, maybe.
I mean, it's around here.
It is. Yeah, there is.
We don't have to go do it.
But it does exist.
It exists.
Yeah. Break. union break, or just like, I kind of need to pee. But when we get back, we're going to get into our final topic of the day, extreme haunts. These are not for the faint of heart, and one of them actually states that you may die in the 40-page waiver.
That's fucking terrifying.
Stay with us.
Extreme haunts.
Now, I don't know if Eli Roth and James Wan are to blame here, but it seems like when Saw and Hostel became such big hits in the early 2000s, we started seeing more of these extreme experiences. The inspiration in so many of these places feels akin to the plot lines in both of those franchises. And in one instance, I believe it's being ran by someone who truly needs investigating. You know, not by us, but somebody.
I really liked the Saw movies.
Oh, me too. Me too. But when
kind of liked Hostel too.
The first one was good. I feel like sometimes they went better. A little. It started to get exhaustive. Yeah.
I mean, they're real.
I'm not a huge Eli Roth fan. I do consider that torture porn.
Well, that's basically what it is.
Yeah. And I don't mind it if it's like Grindhouse or something. I don't know, though. Sometimes I feel like he just takes it too far. But the first Hostel was good. The second one had some crazy good moments, like the girl hanging with the blood thing.
Yeah.
And
the first few Saw movies were super fucking good, too.
The first one, like nothing will ever shock me on such a physical level as the ending of the first one. Yeah. I was just like, what the fuck?
What? No.
And like, I don't know if there's anybody listening to this who hasn't seen it, so I don't want to spoil it because I like want everybody to experience how dope that is.
Twist.
Yeah.
Like, shit.
If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Yeah, you should watch it
right now.
It's
finish this podcast and then go Seesaw.
Yeah, Seesaw.
So the first haunt we're going to talk about is
Blackout.
On the Blackout site, the New York Times is quoted saying,
"It's not merely a cheap trick. This production has a fairly consistent narrative, and the way it evokes dread is more psychologically perceptive than most shows on Broadway."
Created by Josh Randall and Christian Thor in 2009, Blackout is an immersive horror experience that you and I will never know about firsthand.
Nope. Nope. I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The duo had a conversation where Randall had expressed his frustration with how hard it was to get scared anymore, which, wow, what a luxury of our times that
I know,
is.
right?
And thus Blackout was born. It really takes you back to your most primitive base instincts, as it all happens, or mostly happens, in pitch black darkness. More performance art than a haunted house, but the actors are allowed to touch and physically interact with you. There is a stipulation here. They can touch you, but you cannot touch them.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure that liability waiver is huge. The attraction differs depending on the location, and it changes over time to keep you guessing. So you can't like spoil it for your friend or try to do it again and see if maybe you can handle it this time. Like, no, it'll be different.
No, I don't think I could go to something. I mean, first off, I ain't going to that shit anyways, but if somebody lays their hand on me,
yeah, it's over.
like, I don't know that I could not reciprocate.
I would need to slap them back. I'd be like, no,
don't fucking touch me.
Get out of here.
This is supposed to be fun. Keep your hands to yourself.
Well, at the start of each Blackout event, a performer may ask you about your worst fears, which they then use to tailor the event to
I would totally lie.
Oh my God, me too. I would be like, God, I'm so terrified of like chocolate and squishmallows.
I'm afraid of bunnies. They're
it away.
frightening. Kittens, you know.
The worst part, you got to go alone.
No.
Even if you come with a group of friends, you got to go alone.
Yeah, see, none of that sounds like fun to me. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to speak, so you know I can't do it.
Time out. You can't touch anybody, you can't talk, and you have to go alone.
Yes. Oh, but you are welcome to scream.
That's literally the only noise you can make.
That's
I'd be
it.
grunting. I'm not saying words.
It would be Tusk.
It's not words, that's grunts.
Well, there's this article that I found called "I Paid Strangers $50 to Tie Me Up and Scare the Shit Out of Me."
Oh my God.
And I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I am going to read some excerpts from the experience itself. So
that sounds fucking scary as shit. Why would you want to pretend to get kidnapped? Okay.
And, unbelievably, Blackout is the most tame haunt we're about to talk about.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. The entrance is innocuous, just another building in Chelsea. At the door, you're greeted by a staff member manning a table stacked with waivers you must sign in order to participate. The rest of the room is covered in black curtains. No skeletons, fake spiderwebs, or any of the usual haunted house trappings. I received these rules, the longest set of rules I've read before heading into a haunt. You must walk through alone. You must be over 18. Stay on the marked path at all times. You will be prompted to do certain actions. Please do exactly as you're told. This is for your safety. There is absolutely no speaking allowed inside. You can, however, scream as loud as you'd like. Do not ever touch the actors. Do not ever touch the walls. You must wear a protective mask and carry a flashlight at all times. We will provide both of these for you. Please do not bring your own. If you have an emergency while walking through the house and need to be escorted out, please yell the word safety as loud as you can. Stay where you are, remain calm, and someone will come get you and bring you out. Once you call safety, there are no refunds and there are no options but to leave. Please be aware you will encounter fog, strobe lights, complete darkness, crawling, stairs, loud noises, water, physical contact, sexual and violent situations.
No fucking thank you.
Fuck
No.
all of that.
Why do people do that? Like, why?
Quietly, I lined up outside of a black curtain with a group of strangers. Suddenly, a man pops up and starts picking off people in a line, 3 at a time, into a sectioned off room. I quickly did the math and realized I would be sharing whatever horrors awaited with the excited couple in front of me. The worker points to the 3 of us and whips a curtain open. The man handed out surgical masks, instructed us to keep them on at all times, and asked individually for verbal responses to this question. Do you have epilepsy? The worker disappeared and the tiny room filled with smoke and strobe lights. It was awful. Not scary, just awful. You could only see a few inches in front of your face. This is where headaches were made. Then suddenly a new worker appeared and pointed at the girl. You first. She was gone. A few minutes passed and he came back for the man. I was alone in the room full of smoke and strobes. There wasn't any noise, but it was loud as hell in my mind. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out was my only thought. Then there was a face in my face. A man? I was being mercifully escorted by my elbow out of the smoke room and into total darkness. I just froze up against the person who's directing. There was nothing to see but black and flashes of non-existent white from the exposure to the strobe light. Slowly, the person on my arm grabbed my wrist and put my hand up against a concrete wall. Grab the string, they commanded. A few desperate paws later, my hand found the string taped against the wall. Follow the string, the voice said behind me, so I started shuffling along with the taped string, Wrong way, bellowed a voice from who the fuck knew where. So I smushed my whole body up against the wall and I started inching in the darkness. I felt a hand on the back of my neck. Then I felt a hand on my head while I was following the string low. Since it was pitch black, there was really no reason to turn around, so I kind of froze with my arms out like a cat when you put a sweater on it. Finally, I reached the end of the string and a hand appeared on my back, another on my wrist, and I was smashed against the wall police search style. Stay here, someone whispered. Not a problem, I thought. At this point, I'd become adjusted to the darkness and imagined all the creepy brushes were from the helping hands of Labyrinth. She chose down.
Oh, God.
After a brief frisking, I was escorted, still in total darkness, to a chair. There I sat while someone proceeded to just mess with my head in all the darkness. My pant leg was rolled up, an ice cube or a cold tongue, I prefer to think of it as an ice cube, was dragged across my shin. My hair was playfully tugged. People blew on my neck. A pair of hands grabbed my calves, giving one hell of a creepy mental image of an adult wiggling under my chair. Suddenly a tarp was lifted up and I could see a light in what looked like a tunnel made out of black trash bags. Get on your hands and knees, the voices commanded. I slumped down and headed over to the light. Go through it. I looked up, but I could only see a shadow and figured heading towards the light is better than more groping in the dark, so I moved on. The entrance to the plastic tunnel was dropped, and I was forced to push through the endless plastic, held up only by my shoulders. I realized I was still wearing the surgical mask inside its plastic pocket and should probably get out as soon as possible. So I started flopping around. Finally, my head poked out of the exit, and I was met with a pair of hands thwarping me onto my belly. My legs and my torso were still basically in the tunnel, while another human straddled my back, pinning me down.
Hey.
The person on top of me whispered,
We got all kinds of fun ready ahead. Oh, you're pretty. I could eat you up.
This was not scary. I think it was the accent.
You want to stay and play or run away?
he asked. Run away? The playful Southerner conceded, and I scurried off throughout the only possible exit marked by parted curtains and additional light. Right outside of the exit was a pair of stairs. At the bottom of the stairs stood a young woman in a hospital gown. She was blocking the last step and looked directly at me. Go! She hissed. I looked around for any possible route, but there was no way to go but down, which meant walking right into the hospital gown girl. I started down the stairs sideways, clutching the railing. She kept staring and blocking my escape. I took a few more sideways steps, but she still wasn't moving. A few more, and when I was about 6 steps away from her, she extended her arms like a little kid and started greedily grasping in the air, getting ready to grab me. The hospital girl shrieked and grabbed my arms and swiftly plopped me into an old reclining dentist chair. The ghostly white girl began cooing. Reached under her gown, revealing newly red fingers. She took the blood and painted a smile on my surgical mask, all the while humming, giggling, and stroking my hair. Another girl in the same hospital gown popped up. The second hospital girl went straight for my legs, grabbed my foot, and took off my shoe and sock. The two ladies then began fighting over my shoe. I was exceptionally uncomfortable.
Yeah, no fucking kidding. Oh my God.
At some point, one of them placed noise-canceling headphones over my ears, and then they disappeared. I was still sitting alone, staring at the ceiling in the reclined dentist chair without a shoe. I couldn't hear a thing. Then a dark figure appeared in the corner of my eye. He was wearing a ski mask. He grabbed my arm and whipped me out of the chair. The headphones were ripped off, and I was shoved into another room filled with about 3 other people kneeling against the wall with bags over their heads. Within seconds, I too was pressed up against the wall and told to kneel. Someone tied my hands behind my back, which was not tight and I could have easily escaped from, but I was still keeping my hands behind my back. Then they bagged my head. I was left kneeling, 1 foot shoeless, tied up with a bag over a surgical mask. It was hard to breathe. Thinking about the difficulty of breathing made it even harder. You could hear mumblings in the room, but there was no real clue to what was happening. I pushed my tongue out of my mouth in hopes of forcing the surgical mask slightly off my face, but it was hopeless. Panic set in. I got ready to yell the safe word, which was actually the word safety. I think I was on the ground for maybe 7 minutes, but I couldn't breathe. I was unraveling the ropes on my wrist and getting ready to rip the bag off when someone grabbed my arms and lifted me off the floor. Scream, a voice ordered. So I screamed. Scream better than that. I screamed better than that. When the screams were sufficient and I was practically lifted to another room by someone holding onto my back, I was held in place and untied, but the person behind me still had held my arms. I could feel the presence of another person in front of me. Slowly, the bag was taken off. Sweet, sweet air. And holy shit, that guy is Rob Zombie. I swear to God, Rob Zombie was standing before me 5 inches from my face. 2 seconds after the bag was removed, Rob Zombie was rubbing a cold metal thing on my face. He leaned back, pulling the metal contraption back away, revealing it to be a staple gun. The second I realized it was a staple gun, it was back on my face, and Rob Zombie was fucking stapling my face 3 times. There weren't any staples in it, but it still hurt. Okay, it didn't really hurt, but it hurt all the same. Rob Zombie was not amused and started screaming, and the guy behind me, who I totally forgot was there in the presence of the face stapling, threw me into a hallway of TVs.
Was it for real Rob Zombie?
No, it just looked like Rob Zombie.
Oh, I was about to say, how the fuck they get that?
I know, right? Each TV was on, showing video footage of me walking down the hallway. On the floor of said hallway, condoms, just crap loads of condoms were they were all wet. I followed the TVs into the biggest mindfuck room of all. We're not at the biggest mindfuck room of all?
Not yet.
I pulled back a curtain and someone screamed, "Stand on the X!" I spied the X and stood there. Behind the curtain was a room covered in condoms and shoes. There's a dirty mattress on the floor and a dead naked woman lay on her back. In the corner, a skinny man stood with his back to me. He turned around and revealed that he was really not wearing any clothes at all. None. Full dong out. He started walking right towards me. My brain started rattling. I could only hear my own insides rattling around inside my skull at the sheer confusion of the condom parade naked basement man. He started walking towards me, and horror set in as I realized he has my shoe.
Gross.
The naked man got closer and pointed to the bed. "Nope," I said, turning around. Naked man said, "Get on the bed," and I sat on it. He grabbed my feet and pulled them up, so now I'm laying on the bed. He sat at the foot of the bed, holding my shoe while staring down at me. It was dead silent. Then the dead naked girl woke up and flipped over on top of me. She started screaming, "Help me, help me, help me, help me, help me." I screamed back, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." The naked man was rubbing his face on my exposed foot the whole time. Finally, after an eternity of nakedness, the naked man thrust my shoe into my chest and yelled, "Get out." And I got the fuck out.
I'd have got the fuck out too.
Somehow during the calamity, a door opened and I ran through it, up a flight of stairs and headed towards someone in a staff shirt. I was told to go into the bathroom and put my shoe back on, wash my hands, and head out. I went into the bathroom and put my shoe on. Not 5 seconds had passed when someone came barreling out of the bathroom stall and chases me out of the bathroom and back through the entrance. Fuck this shit. The end. To this day, it is absolutely the most horrifying thing I've ever willingly participated in.
Yeah, that sounds fucking terrifying. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's that's fucking
No.
That's a blackout.
No.
No, thank you.
The Freakling Brothers.
The Freakling Brothers in Las Vegas is an experience that I can actually say might not be the worst experience of your life. Maybe not. Yeah. This is only because these guys, on all accounts, are consummate professionals. Like, if I had to pick one of the 3 extreme haunts we talk about here, it would be these guys. A family affair that all started in 1976 with a humble home haunt, Freakling Brothers prides themselves in innovative, unique, and terrifying experiences for its victims. The thing that really stuck out to me when looking at these guys was how much care and sensitivity they put into the experience. In 1992, they would unveil the city's first freestanding haunted attraction. 3 years later, the company paved the way for future extreme haunts by developing a 6-trailer, self-contained mobile attraction, the first of its kind. This new concept of a haunted house took off and swept the country with a wave of inspiration. By the new millennium, 2 more attractions had been added, which gave the company the 3 separate and unique haunts that they still run to this day. Every couple of years, they demolish and rebuild one of them to ensure they have cutting-edge scare tactics and technology. In 2011, they released the first ever R-rated haunted house in Nevada. The Gates of Hell is a serious, unrelenting night of terror based on the assumption that the adult thrill-goer wanted something more. Originally thought to be targeting a small and niche market, they were surprised when it was so beloved it went mainstream. In the Gates of Hell, you experience your own death and go to hell. Sounds fun, right? Well, according to their website,
The Gates of Hell is a sadistic experiment, an absolute sensory overload. You won't be a spectator. Prepare for heart-pounding, claustrophobic terror. Face the reality of your own violent death. And finally, experience a slow and painful descent into the cold black nothingness to meet Lucifer. Whoa.
Satan.
Fucking Satan.
Wow. I got Jordan a Baphomet for her birthday.
It's awesome.
That's really cute.
They love it.
He's the best. What's his name?
Fluffy Baphomet.
Barry the Baphomet?
No, it's just Baphomet.
Well, they're pretty guarded about what happens in there, but I do know that they administer electric shocks at a safe voltage.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, there's a room where the ceiling is just coming down on you like a nightmare.
Like a big squish ceiling? No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, like the trash compactor in Star Wars.
No.
People who've been through it are surprisingly guarded about their experiences, so it's kind of tough to find anything. Like, it seems like people actually want to keep it a secret, you know?
Or they're just so fucking traumatized they don't want to talk about it.
No, that's going to be the next haunt we talk about. At the end of the night, actors would sometimes punish the final crowd a little more than anyone else. Rumors flew that this was happening, and people started waiting out other groups and even paying more money to become the final show. This became such a high demand thing, they realized people wanted even more. So in 2013, they opened up the Victim Experience. Can you guess what they do?
Oh, God.
The Victim Experience by Freakling Brothers is the most realistic, traumatic, and horrifying test of psychological fortitude currently being offered in the U.S. You're not the voyeur, you're the victim. The show simulated death in very realistic and visceral manners.
God, that sounds terrible.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Tell us what they've won, pal.
You can choose from.
Oh, no, you get all.
Oh, you get all of them.
You get all of them.
You get the whole package.
The whole package.
Individual experience. Full physical contact.
Hello.
Electricity. Drowning and suffocation. Extreme simulated death scenarios.
Oh, good.
Only 30% of the people don't use the safe word.
Yeah. So out of 10 people, 3 might make it.
Well,
It's better than Mckamey Manor, where 0.
I wouldn't even try it.
I know.
No. I don't
It's not
want
me.
That sounds awful.
But their safe word here is taken seriously. I feel like it's important to note there's an established trust in these experiences. You really and truly feel terrified, but your core needs to understand that it's not real and you're not in any real danger. There's a personal liability waiver you sign, which details everything that you're going to experience, or rather everything that's going to happen to you. So there's no surprises here. Everyone knows what they're signing up for. The owner, JT Molnar, told Theme Park University in an interview,
We have had lawyers look over everything. We are a business, which means we have certain legal limits on what we can and can't do. In addition, we are professionals. The idea is that the victims are in simulated danger, not actual danger. We want the experience to feel chaotic when in reality, it's all very rehearsed.
Not only is it super rehearsed, the actors themselves have to pass a background check. Again, worth mentioning is not everyone takes this sort of care. They also make a point of hiring kind people. I know that sounds weird, like what kind of person wants to fucking torture people for a job? But JT said, "We look for people who are sympathetic and are genuinely good people. If someone comes in and only focuses on how much they're going to mess someone up, they aren't a right fit. In reality, even though our actors may not seem like they want the victim to get through this, they're all secretly rooting for them. We know exactly how long each scene will last and what they have to go through and move on. Everything down to where the actors place their hands on you, to where you're moved, and with what kind of force is used is all planned out in advance. Every one of our actors wants to see people get through this, to tough it out. Even though they're paid to seem like they want you to fail, in reality, they're rooting for you." They even have some professional wrestlers and stunt people on staff who know how to do something like this safely and effectively. Indeed, just like some of the theatrical wrestling, it looks way more violent and spontaneous than it is. As far as how wild it would be to go through or perform some of the violence that happens in the victim experience, Molnar opened up about caring for the mind during a show. "At the end of every shift, we have kind of a cool-down session where all the actors and staff talk about what happened that night. We talk about what we did well and mention some things we can improve on, just like any kind of post-shift meeting. We don't let anyone leave for at least an hour. After that, some people stay on site for a while and just talk. Others go to the bar to unwind, and some just sit in their car and smoke weed. Still, we all need time to decompress. As far as those kidnapped, tortured, and traumatized patrons, well, some of them feel like they just achieved something pretty big, whether they make it through or not." Molnar was quoted saying, "Many of the people who've gone through have contacted us saying it changed their life. They've come out on the other side, even if they had to call the safe word, saying that they see the world differently. Some are less afraid of things. Some feel that if they got through this, they can do anything. It has a profound effect on different people." By all accounts, JT Molnar's is a regular dude. He doesn't have intentions of messing around with anyone's head, and he's got his shit together. Now, we don't have to like the victim experience or want to do it or understand why someone would. However, it's not really ours or anyone else's right to have things you don't like cease to exist. You can search and read the reviews of people who've gone through this, and they're overwhelmingly positive. Many people have said they want to do it again and have done it again.
It's crazy.
I think of all the haunts on this list, and if I had to choose, this would be the one. Maybe not full victim experience, but I can see trying at least Gates of Hell if I had no other choice for some weird reason.
I always have a choice. I don't want to do that. Nope. Thank you. I'm good.
Well, this next one,
I definitely don't want to do this.
No.
That.
The fact this exists in Tennessee,
It blows my mind.
creeps me out.
Blows my mind.
This
it ain't
one,
really that far. It's really not that far.
No, yeah, it's not. It's like right down the road. Well, honestly, I'm hesitant to even put this in today's episode because I feel like this guy gets more than enough attention, but I'm still not 100% sure if I totally believe it's happening.
It's definitely happening.
I don't know, man. Dude's so into making his little murder porn movies. I'm just tempted to think maybe it's all smoke and mirrors, but the physical injuries and long-lasting mental issues, then the victims come speaking out against the haunt. That's really what does it for me. Like nobody does that with Freakling Brothers or Blackout. There's no petitions with hundreds of thousands of signatures. There's no fights
Trying to get them shut down?
Yeah, like there's no fights with state and local authorities.
Just don't go.
Yeah, people are trying to shut down Mckamey Manor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's petitions and all kinds of stuff.
That's crazy.
So that's what kind of separates it for me is that there's victims that speak out against this haunt, whereas like the other ones don't really have.
I mean, they're not victims; they were customers. Like you chose to do this.
Let me tell you. So let's start at the beginning. Russ Mckamey, former Navy seaman and professional wedding singer.
He's a jack of all trades.
Oh my God. Russ just like loves scaring the shit out of people. His children have said in interviews that they have emotional scars from their dad testing out psychological torment and games on them growing up. So nice.
That seems kind of fucked up.
Unlike the other extreme haunts out there, you cannot just simply buy a ticket and go. In fact, there's no admission fee. Just bring a bag of dog food for Russ's 5 doggos. Sounds like a sweet dude, huh? What could possibly be wrong with someone who obviously loves their dogs so much? Well, remember, even Hitler had a dog he claimed to love.
You're not comparing this guy to Hitler.
I'm just saying, you can be an evil motherfucker and still be all like, yay, dogs, you know? So before you can enter, you need to take a physical exam. There's a background check, a phone screen, a fucking 40-page waiver you have to read out loud and sign before the haunt. This usually takes place after your kidnapping and while you're semi-tied up in a drainage canal. So gross.
Okay.
Yeah. You also need to take a drug test, and Russ personally vets the shit out of your social media accounts. You'd think this complex screening process would be to ensure people could handle the haunt, but in reality, it's far more sinister. Russ aims to select participants who have almost a cult-like attraction to the haunt and Russ himself. He needs people with trauma or people who seem easily manipulated so they can complicitly go through the worst parts of the haunt.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, because he needs people who maybe he can, maybe they're too emotionally volatile to try to end the experience so he can finish his little movies that he makes. No, at least that's what it seems like to me. Like he's so obsessed with making
of people going through it.
Yeah, and he says that he does it for evidence and stuff for like what's going on, but he spends all of his free time editing them. He uses them for marketing.
Well, yeah,
like, he obsessively works on these videos.
I mean, I feel like that's good marketing footage.
I mean,
if you want to know what's gonna happen,
there's a whole lot of speculation. He sells them on the dark web too.
I mean, okay.
So I mean,
they paid their dog food. They knew what they were getting.
I don't know. Anyway, if you make it that far in the screening process, you then have to watch a near 2-hour documentary by Russ himself featuring every individual who attempted the haunt in the last 2 years. They have the footage too, oodles of footage, because Russ films every moment of every event. Russ claims to be an aspiring filmmaker. Like I said, he's obviously filming it also for evidence in case he ever gets in legal trouble. A little cover your ass. Yeah, but it's very murder porny. These videos are wild. I struggle to get through them without feeling super unsettled. I'm sure you've seen them. Yeah.
I actually haven't ever watched any of them. I mean, I know about this place, but I've never watched any of the... Are you about to show me one? We're going to watch a video.
We are. So I'm going to show Jordan one of these videos because apparently she's never seen.
No, I don't search this shit out. I mean, I know about it.
Does it say 5 hours, 59 minutes?
It does. We don't need to watch our
Jesus Christ. Shit. Gosh, there's so many. He has so many.
Yeah, there's a lot. Holy crap. Oh my God. This video may be inappropriate for some users.
So, entrance selfie. This is Jeremy going in. Yay.
This is the guy that's about to go through it.
Yeah.
And they told him to dress like a bunny?
Yeah, you always have to dress up in like a onesie.
Are they fucking choking him?
Yeah.
Fuck, are they punching him?
Yeah, they're forcing him into a refrigerator that they're, I'm assuming, gonna close him in.
Well, and then what? Then do they eventually just let him out? Like, what is the point of
I guess.
all that?
I mean, that's full of water.
Holy fuck. God, he is beat the fuck up.
He just said the fucking safe word, and they're refusing to stop.
Oh, they make him go through this whole, like
he's stepping on his neck.
Oh, God. While he's trying to quit, he's stepping on his throat. Ooh, what is that?
Who the fuck knows?
Ew.
Sometimes it's live animals, like they'll make them eat like a live chicken. If you vomit, they'll put the vomit back in your mouth and make you eat it.
Gross. No, God. Who the fuck would sign up
Yeah,
for
that
this?
actually looks like those are those are octopus.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, his hands are zip tied. This is honestly pretty tame. Yeah, that's the gist.
Holy
so
shit.
if you I didn't realize that you hadn't seen it. Yeah, that's...
I mean, I've seen like documentaries done on haunted attractions, and so I knew about...
So do you get it now when I say that Russ is claiming to be an aspiring filmmaker, and it seems to me like he's more interested in making his fucking little movies than he is...
Well, if that guy said the safe word, they should have fucking stopped.
They should have
right
fucking
then.
stopped.
Not stepped on his neck and made him like say I'm weak, piece of shit, or whatever they were doing.
Well, and that's your safety word. So it's not like blackout where you just say safety. You have to say like, I'm a little pussy.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to say like something.
So like you get degraded in the end also.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They beat the fucking shit out of you.
Yeah. In the videos, you'll see the cast duct taping victims' heads, like their eyes, forcing them to eat really gross looking shit, getting waterboarded, thrown in cages, pulled into dummy furniture, and thrown into claustrophobic tunnels that go underneath them. The people are usually dressed up in the adult animal onesies, like you saw, and in all of the videos, these people are like begging for it to stop. Like they're crying their eyes out. There's this one video I saw, this woman is like genuinely shocked. If you go through some of the older ones too, like people look like they're actually medically shocked.
They probably are.
At one point, a man is so stunned he can no longer speak, answer questions, or anything. There's no medical personnel on staff. And the reaction to the man's clinical symptoms is that his body is quitting on him. and they start to slap him around, saying, "Say the name of the haunt, say the name of the haunt," like screaming in his face. Some attendees scream their safe phrase, like you said, and it just gets ignored. Russ gets down in their faces and will tell them, like, you may be done with him, but, you know, he's far from done with you. He says things like, I'm having just too much fun. I'm feeling so entertained. I'm just going to keep you a little while longer. He'll be like, remember, Jordan, when I told you I wasn't going to put a spider in your mouth? Ooh, I lied. That kind of shit. You're real fucking, yeah. I would be so pissed. Like, seriously, fuck this guy. Safe words are sacred, and you can't do that to someone. Like, give them hope that they can end the experience and then just take it away like that.
Yeah.
This is the shit that leaves everlasting emotional scars, and you can't predict how someone's mind is going to handle that sort of violation. So, paid your dog food or not, I feel like it's too much.
Yeah, that is way too much.
Wondering how you could ever possibly go and volunteer to work in an event where you're subjecting folks to this shit. They have them. Yeah. And they're volunteers, by the way. They're not employees. They're volunteers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So according to a petition to have the Tennessee location shut down, which has been signed by more than 100,000 people, Russ Mckamey hires employees with violent histories, domestic and sexual assault or harassment charges, and prior incarcerations.
Okay. It's literally just kidnapping in a torture house.
The petition says,
some people have had to seek professional psychiatric help and medical care for extensive injuries.
Of course, Russ will not confirm or deny anything since his business is a nonprofit. There's limited power the state has.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, because it's not a business.
That's fucking wild.
Isn't that clever? Yeah.
So he gets people to sign this crazy contract, pay him some dog food, and then he fucking tortures them for a damn video?
Yeah, for up to 10 hours.
Oh my God.
Apparently the 40-page contract is airtight too. His ex-wife was lawyer, so I'm sure that was useful at the time.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Russ gets away with disturbing amount of shit in the manor. You're even given a list of hundreds of things that will happen to you, and you're told you can choose 2 that are totally off limits. Another promise it's not guaranteed, according to some survivors. There's even a part where you must sign that you understand there's a chance this experience may kill you.
No, thank you.
What does Russ himself have to say about it?
I don't care if you sign a waiver or not. You're not allowed to torture people.
Russ told WFLA.com.
That's illegal. So with all the eyes watching us and all the people trying to shut us down, including the state of Tennessee and every law enforcement branch you can think of, if we are torturing somebody, I'd be in jail right now or the thing would be shut down. So clearly that's not really what's happening.
It's a tough sell for me. People are coming out of here with fractured bones and these stories about safe words being ignored or legitimately not being able to breathe. One man even had a heart attack, which Russ sort of uses as a flex. Fucking weird. Some would say if you're into the S&M community, these experiences may be for you, but the S&M community takes safe words and precautions seriously. So I don't know. I think it's hard to say you're not torturing people when you're offering a 6 to 10 hour experience that opens up with a violent abduction, being bound, blindfolded, and roughed up, and then you read the contract out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, you're already in it.
Right. You know? And again, this is something that Russ neither confirms or denies. Like, people are forced apparently to ingest pills. And you'll be injected with things that can cause hallucinations. So you're drugged. So not only are you just going to be like regular scared, but you may be slightly incapacitated as well. Just tripping your ass off, like, you know, somewhere in between.
Fucking drug induced.
Yeah. Russ says there's absolutely no torture, and he has the films to prove what happens and what doesn't happen during each experience. But
I mean, it looks like people were getting choked out and fucking stepped on.
That's what it looked like to me. He does employ mental manipulation techniques and hypnosis.
Okay.
Quote,
there's no torture. There's nothing like that. But under hypnosis, if you make someone believe there's something really scary going on, that's just all in their own mind and not reality.
So basically, much of the experience is sensory deprivation and the power of suggestion.
I mean, it looked like he was stepping on people's fucking throats.
That's what I saw. I think being blindfolded like this for a long period of time is absolutely going to fuck with you. But once you're in this experience for a few hours, things start to come undone and people do things like disassociate or just go into shock. Do I think he's Satan? Like, nah, Satan ain't real. But what he is something way worse. He opened this in 2001 when he started a small haunt in his backyard, and the dude is slowly becoming unhinged by like over immersing himself in this dark and violent craft that his haunts have become. He's starting to fall apart. Once a week, 2 or 3 guests are corralled together for the experience. Like we said, as long as 10 hours if you can stand it. He used to offer $20,000 cash prize if you could make it to the end without swearing. But every time you swore, $500 got taken away.
Okay.
He said that attracted the wrong type, so he doesn't offer it anymore. But no one ever won. And I don't know, sometimes I doubt he even had the money in the first place. Like, he probably didn't.
I mean, probably not.
Like, nobody's going to make it through this. Yeah, nobody's making it through this.
Does he have a fucking job? What the hell does he do?
I'm still unclear on a lot of that.
How do you make money?
Mckamey says that he likes to, quote, personalize each haunt. They find out your biggest fear and use it against you. One of the first visitors to the manor, Gabby L., who you should look up her videos because they're fucking nuts balls. She said,
he knew I was afraid of spiders. That's why he put spiders on my face.
He plays psychological games where he pits people against each other and makes them decide who will suffer some horrible task at the expense of the other. You don't arrive, you're kidnapped, blindfolded, thrown in the back of a van, beaten up by actors, and this is before you even get to the destination. I've heard the process of signing the contract can last up to 6 hours itself because you all have to read it out loud as you are getting beaten and screamed at the whole time. Also, you're tied up and sitting in a drainage ditch. So, I mean, I don't think I'd make it through the fucking kidnapping.
No.
Some of the exciting and fun things in store for you once you get to the manor. Being locked in freezers, slapped, kicked, held underwater, injected, tased, punched, choked. Other recorded visits show live animals brought in to be put in people's faces or eaten alive. Several people have had nails ripped off.
What?
Bones broken, hair shaved, or teeth removed.
Time out, they were ripping people's teeth out?
Uh-huh.
They're not allowed to do that. I mean, was it in the waiver?
Oh, yeah.
I'm allowed to rip your fucking...
I'm allowed...
You signed
You
that
literally signed that you might die.
Oh, yeah, good point. God, that's fucking crazy.
So anything below death...
No... You ain't ripping my fucking teeth out.
The nails, Jesus. And you can see all this on his Mckamey Manor channel. Like,
that's fucking wild.
And you can see how we had to sign in and shit. Like, YouTube ain't a fan of it being there, but
Yeah.
Mckamey says it's top secret because he doesn't show the worst parts of the experience. He says everything on YouTube is like watered down and edited.
Oh my God, that was awful.
Uh-huh. And that wasn't even shit, pal. Like, that was tame what I just showed you. There's some shit. I went down a rabbit hole a few years ago and must have watched like 3 hours of this shit one night.
No.
Some people speculate he sells these videos on the dark web or that people are betting on how long someone will make it through and that's where he makes his money. Which is another reason why, like, all that weight about filming it. Because if you notice, that one clip that I showed you was edited together of some kind of quirky 5-hour documentary or something. Yeah, really fucking weird reality show. But I mean, we don't know. I mean, this could be like rumors about what goes on, which is really kind of genius marketing if it is just smoke and mirrors.
It didn't look like it.
It doesn't look like it now. The unknown fear is exactly why there's a 22,000 person wait list.
That's fucking wild. I can't believe there's that many people that want to do that.
And you hear all this hype and then you go, you show up, and once the blindfold is on, you're out of control over your body. You're getting slammed around and shit. Your brain sort of creates things that may or may not be happening. So I can see how, like, he's saying, like, oh, there's claims that we're doing things that we're really not doing, but broken bones and heart attacks?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not in your mind, dude. Clearly something is out of control with their operations of the event, and that I do not like.
Yeah.
Like, no one should be walking out of there with any type of long-lasting injury. That's just fucked. In a video called I Survived Mckamey Manor, The Real Truth, Gabby L. explained how she is only now ready to talk about her experience.
It took me 5 years till now to really grasp how messed up the situation really was. It wasn't a haunted house. It was a weird way for Russ to have control over people.
Gabby saw the original advertisement on YouTube. She thought it was marketed as a boo haunt.
They could grab you. They could get physical, but it wasn't going to be anything crazy.
She was the very first to take part in the haunt and referred to herself as a guinea pig. Mckamey's team made no excuses. Employee Ryan Lawrence, in an interview from last year, admitted,
I don't have a line. If they say they can't do it, they can't stand up, I just drag them.
Mckamey himself in the same interview proudly added,
7 years ago, we had a heart attack. That was good stuff.
Russ Mckamey's ex-wife, Holly, described him as a
dangerous predator.
Whilst his own children who confess
he enjoys torturing people.
With a background in theater and 23 years in the Navy, Russ Mckamey is not a man to shun the limelight. He seems to love the negative attention and even tries to allude to more. But is this a surprise or merely a way of propagating his own renown? Mckamey is obsessed with mind games, and many have suggested that he uses hallucinogens on guests, not simply to enhance their encounter, but also as a further means of control. Sometimes he'll turn the camera lens off when filming, but leave the audio on. Is this because he's got the cast to do something even more horrible to the guests that he doesn't want to show? More likely, it's simply to add to the mystery and the sales. Despite all of this, Russ claims to get 150 to 200 requests per week to be a part of his weekly exhibition.
God, that is wild.
Yeah, dude. And it's in Tennessee, too. So I guess...
I don't want no part of that.
No, me neither. Me neither. I am fucking good. So are you in the mood, guys? What do you think? Do you want to go check out Blackout? How about a haunted cruise?
Feeling like some spooky shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do any of that stuff. All of it. Everything we talked about, I don't want any part of it.
No.
It needs to stay on the fucking TV.
Well, anyway, that's our show, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. And happy freaking Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Ooh. Bye.
Bye.
If you want to keep up on things, you can hit us up on all social media.
All of them.
At
Creepy Tapas.
That's right. We're just Creepy Tapas.
All over the damn place.
Creepy Tapas is a free podcast, and we intend to keep it that way. But if you like what you hear and want to support us, please like, rate, and review. It helps us grow so we can keep serving our tiny tastes of terror to amazing listeners like you.
We would love to hear from you, so send us your personal stories to creepytapas@gmail.com. We are self-written and recorded with production by Freddy Cat Productions, music by Kevin MacLeod, and graphics by Panther Creek Graphics.
Darkcast Network. The light shines brightest on our indie podcasts.